Off and running, welcome in. Musso at the box. Presented by Gotlit Light Installers. LSU 13, North Dakota State 3. Tigers get the run rule victory, get the midweek sweep. They got off to a much improved and much better start here in this ball game, as was to be expected. We will go through all of it. Saw 4 pitchers, mixed results there. The free passes still way too plentiful, and the concern there honestly just continues to grow. I do have some thoughts on the pitching. Of course, it wasn't all bad. I mean, you definitely had some success on the mound that we'll get into there. You saw Jared Jones blast 2 home runs. It was another very efficient offensive night for LSU. 13 runs, 10 hits. A lot of you are going to love this. They only left 5 guys on base tonight. Saw long ball. I mean, it all got started the first inning. So, I mean, like I said, we'll go through all of it. And you get the run rule. And look, while you want to continue to get guys work on the mound, and you do, you had your second consecutive 5-game week here. Getting your run rule, being able to save some innings, save some arms, that's not necessarily a bad thing here if you're LSU. And quite honestly, after the way you played last night, and we talked about this on the post-game show, LSU needed to come out and just completely have their way with an inferior team and dominate. And for the most part, LSU did that tonight, and it was very predictable. I mean, this is kind of a carbon copy of what you saw after they lost the game to Omaha. You saw them at the end really kick it back into gear, and you knew when they were coming back 2 hours later, they were bringing a butt whipping with them, and you could kind of feel that after last night too, because there's no way they were going to be satisfied with the way that they played, and nor should they have been. So plenty to go through here, and we'll do so over the next 20 or so minutes. Glad you're here. Share, smash the like button if you have not already. Get subscribed up to the YouTube channel. Get subscribed up on your favorite podcast app. Just search Musso at the Box wherever you get your podcasts. Get subscribed. Set notifications, all of those things. Again, share. Follow me on social media, Twitter X, at Musso Matthew. You can find me on Instagram, at Matthew Musso1. And also, we are on Facebook, too. So, all of that is greatly appreciated. And, look, we're going to go ahead and we'll dive right in. William Schmidt gets the start, as we kind of figured that he would. It was a dominant first inning for William Schmidt. 11 pitches. Fly out, strike out. Doesn't get much better than that. And then you go to the bottom half of the first, and Curiel immediately gets it started with a single. Jones follows. Dickinson walks. So right there, bases loaded, nobody out. Josh Pearson gets hit. Y'all, we talked about this plenty with North Dakota State on Tuesday night, as well as in our preview for this series. They give a lot away. They issue a lot of free passes, and they did so again tonight. 9 more tonight for North Dakota State. 6 walks, 5 strikeouts. I mean, that's right in line with what they do, and then they hit 3 batters. But what we focused in on in the preview was that they walk almost as many as they strike out. This 2-game set here, I mean, I can go and make sure on this, but I believe they did walk more than they struck out. They definitely did Wednesday night. Again, 6 walks, 5 strikeouts. I'm waiting for the other box score to load from a night ago here. Hold on, let's see. 9 walks, 8 strikeouts. So yes, for the 2 games, they did. They walked more than they struck out. And that also, LSU's the hardest team in the SEC to strike out right now. So single, 2 free passes, and you have a run across. Stephen Milam comes up. He singles to right center field. That's 2 more RBI, picking up right where he left off a night ago. Great to see. Jake Brown comes up, flies out. Sac fly, though, that pushes another run across. That's just the first out of the inning. Hernandez would ground out to shortstop. But then LSU's 2-out magic, it kicked in. Reeves, RBI single. Stanfield followed that with a single, and Curiel singled to center field to drive both of them in. So you scored 4 runs before 2 outs, the last 3 of the inning with 2 outs. That's just been a trend for LSU all season long, and it continued here on Tuesday night. And all in that first inning, LSU scored 7 runs on 6 hits. They left just 1 guy on base, and they sent 11 batters to the plate. And from that moment, you were off and running. And that's exactly what you needed. You were facing a freshman pitcher making his college debut, and you treated him as such. You welcomed him as such, and that was great to see. One thing I was interested in for that second inning was how William Schmidt would come back out. That was a long wait. Probably one of the longest waits he's had. There was a long one against Nichols, but that one was significant. He comes out, gives up the single, and then issues his first free pass of the day. Comes back, gets a strikeout, but it's another free pass. Then you have a wild pitch. I believe that was one that got over Hernandez's head. Catching was not good again tonight. You know what was really refreshing was hearing Skip Bertman on the broadcast criticize the one-knee technique that all catchers use these days because it's horrible. And we had that rant a couple shows ago. So, you know, having the GOAT just reinforce something that is basic, fundamental baseball is always nice to see. I, again, don't know where along the lines of baseball that became acceptable to just throw fundamentals out the window at a premium defensive position, but apparently it has, and it's at every level of baseball, and I loathe it entirely. I think it is just so poor. But anyway, that ultimately scores your run, and then you get the out. The thing about that second inning with Schmidt, I think the command wavered a little bit because of the weight, but when you sit there, he was on the precipice of getting out of it, and you have the wild pitch, and you have a run score without the benefit of a hit. You have base runners on a run score without the benefit of a hit. I mean, that's just, you know, that's really, really disappointing. But you go back to the third, and I thought Schmidt bounced back pretty well. Pitched around a couple of 2-out free passes. We'll get to that, but did pitch around it. And LSU added 4 more in the third. That was highlighted by Jared Jones's 3-run homer to right field. That was in an 0-1 count. Waited, stayed back, drove the ball. That was awesome to see. You saw it a little bit from him last season. Saw it again here tonight. He would add another one in the fifth, a 2-run shot to right center. That would give LSU their 13-1 lead. And then, of course, in the 7th, Grant Fontenot on free passes once again come to haunt LSU. Walk, hit by pitch to lead off the inning. Both of those guys end up coming around to score 13-3, your final score. Let's start offensively, and then I'll dive in on the pitching. Because I have less thoughts offensively than I do with what took place on the mound. Smash the like button if you have not already. So, I mean, look, obviously, like we said, it's that first inning where you send 11 to the plate, 7 runs, 6 hits. That is an all-time. Offensive outburst in an inning. Normally, there's some free passes and everything mixed in there, but to have 6 hits, that's really incredible. Offensively, every starter for LSU on Wednesday night scored a run. That's noteworthy. I mean, you just talk about depth in the lineup and production throughout. Guys getting on by any means necessary. Of your starters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them had hits. So 5 out of the 9 guys in your lineup had hits. Derek Curiel at the top of the order. In Fuego again, 2 for 2. Scored twice, drove in 2. Kid is just such a joy to watch play baseball. And I actually wanted to talk about this last night after the game, but we got a little heated and a little fired up. He's got it. I mean, he's got it. And look, he's going to be a draft-eligible sophomore in 2026, and if the power comes in any shred, he's going to the draft after his sophomore season. I am honestly hopeful that the power doesn't come and LSU gets him for a 3rd year and then it shows up, just selfishly, because that kid has stepped onto campus, and from day one, and I don't mean day one this season, I mean day one in the fall, has just taken professional at-bats. He looks so comfortable up there. He doesn't look like a freshman. I know that's cliche, but that guy looks like a fifth-year senior up there taking at-bats. And it's just, he is going to hit leadoff the rest of this year. He's going to hit leadoff the rest of his career at LSU. You know you're going to get a great at-bat. A great at-bat from Derek Curiel, and he hits to all fields. It's the same conversation we've had since preseason. He's next. Like, he's the next phenom at LSU. And I know a lot of people were worried that, it was overhyped. It's not overhyped. And that's not to say he's not going to struggle in the SEC. He probably will. You'll see the numbers tick down a little bit. But, I mean, Curiel, he's going to be in line, I do believe, for national awards when it comes to freshman honors. Definitely SEC Freshman of the Year, all of those things. He's just, you know what you're going to get with him, and there's already such a comfortability having him at the plate in big moments because there's such a comfortability in knowing that he's with him. He's so comfortable. He's going to give you the great at-bat. So that was awesome. Jared Jones, obviously your player of the game. 4 out of 3, the 2 homers, 5 RBI. Just awesome. It was great to see the home run swing really come back for him. So he's now tied for the team lead with 4 in that regard. Stephen Milam, again, single, 2 RBI. We talked about that. Chris Stanfield at the bottom of the order. Thought he was fantastic tonight. Obviously, 2 out of 3 with an RBI. The first 2 that he had, man, they were scalded. So awesome. I mean, I have no complaints offensively. And then you even saw Braswell come off the bench and get a knock. I thought that was awesome to see. Hopefully, maybe that can get him going a little bit because you haven't had either guy really nail down third base, Reeves or Braswell. I like the veteran of Braswell, and I think he's a better glove. We will see there. But, I mean, you look at that battle, and Braswell's at 194, Reeves is at 211. Reeves has taken some very good at-bats. He just doesn't have much to show for it, and a lot of that's bad baseball luck. Ola Tiger, we are getting to the free passes, and I have a number for you. In fact, I have a number for you combined in the 2 games. And then when we do our preview for the weekend, we'll have a number dating back to the trip in Texas. But let me wrap up my offensive thoughts, and then we're going to get to the pitching. So, I mean, that actually kind of wraps it up a little bit. They were awesome. LSU, they only struck out 5 times, 10 runs, 13 hits, left 5 on base. You can't you can't draw it up any better offensively. You just can't. So major tip of the hat. Offense wasn't a problem a night ago. It wasn't a problem again here. It hasn't been a problem except for 10 innings in the middle of that Omaha series. You have to feel really, really good. Really, really, really good about LSU offensively going into their final weekend before conference play. Gauntlet Light Installers, gauntletlights.com for a quote. Work with Derek and his team. Great customer service, great relationships. You won't find it anywhere else. They can take care of all your lighting needs. It's not just Christmas lights anymore. Remember, permanent landscape lighting as well from Gauntlet for your front yard, your backyard. Really illuminate your landscape. Take the curb appeal of your house to the next level. Also, private events. And look, this isn't just for your home, right? This is residential or commercial. Maybe you're hosting a private event at your business and you need premium outdoor temporary lighting. Gauntlet Lights has you covered there as well. Custom designed, cut to fit, installation, maintenance, and storage. GauntletLights.com. Gauntlet Light Installers. Go there for your free quote. All right. And tell them you heard it right here on Mooso at the Box. Pitching. The free passes are really starting to be a concern. I'm at that point. I'm willing to give them this weekend, but if we see the same from LSU pitchers that we have the last 5 games, really 4 because they were good against Nebraska, that is going to be chief concern for me heading into conference play. Chief concern. I mean, I am right on the precipice of that right now. when you look at William Schmidt's night, for a line, very good. He pitched around the trouble he got himself into, and that's awesome. But y'all, North Dakota State is a bad baseball team, specifically offensively. They're not good. They came into this little 2-game set as a team hitting below the Mendoza line, below 200. They're not good. And I get it. We talked about the tough schedule they played. But still, that's not good. Schmidt goes 4 innings, gets up to 73 pitches, thought that was great, 44 strikes. That's a little lower total than you want to see. You're kind of settling there around 50%. 2 hits, 1 run, it was earned. He struck out 7. You're thinking that's great. The problem is he issued 5 free passes. And that's the thing. And look, and this is why. Hold on, I'll come back to that. William Schmidt's going to be a guy that LSU counts on. And I know a lot of people have their eye on him for a rotation spot, potentially maybe at some point this season if others falter. You can't have that spot issuing 5 free passes. Okay? I know everyone's so quick to want to make a change in the rotation. Your starters have actually been really good. And I have some numbers on that I want to get into in the preview when we actually talk about the starting rotation for North Alabama. So I'll save that for that time. But William Schmidt is going to play a very key role for this team this year. And 5 free passes is far too many. There were also 2 wild pitches mixed in there. The guy only gave up 2 hits. And as we went over, the run scored without the benefit of a hit because of free passes and because wild pitches. And that's becoming far too common over the course of the last 5 games for LSU. Tonight, the Tigers issued 11 free passes. 11 free passes. 7 walks, 4 hit batters. A night ago, Tuesday, LSU issued 10 free passes. 6 walks, 4 hit batters. You're looking at 21 free passes over the course of 2 games. Against a team that came into this hitting 197. And y'all, that is why when they go out there against Purdue Fort Wayne on opening weekend and walk 3 and strike out 45, it's celebrated. And you don't shake a stick at it because of the competition. Because throwing strikes and spotting your pitches is throwing strikes and spotting your pitches no matter who you're playing. And that could not be illustrated any more clearly than in this little 2-game set against a team that is not good offensively. And you issued that many free passes. So again, that's why when you hear anyone tell you strikes are strikes, believe it. And it doesn't matter about the competition. North Dakota State ain't any better than Purdue Fort Wayne. In my eyes, at this point in the season. Maybe they'll go into the Summit League and they'll win a bunch of games, and good on them. I don't care. I don't care one lick about North Dakota State the rest of this season. What I care about is the team that you faced, and the team that you faced is no better than Purdue Fort Wayne. Strikes are strikes, and LSU is not throwing enough of them currently. And it is a growing concern. And it's not just midweek arms. William Schmidt's going to pitch in huge spots for LSU this season. And in order for him to maximize, and LSU to maximize him in those spots, he has to get better control. He lacked with the curveball a little bit tonight at times, but it was just a little inconsistency. I still have plenty of faith in William Schmidt. I'm using him as the example because he's a guy that you're going to count on. And he's not exempt from the free passes right now. Either no one on this LSU staff is, and that's the point, and that's where the cause for concern really comes from. Dalton Beck. I thought Dalton Beck pitched really well. Bayou Bros. Yes, Smitty, he's going to be a dog. Absolutely. 100%. Going to be a dog. Dalton Beck thought acquitted himself quite nicely in his 1 inning of work. Again, you would have liked to have seen more strikes. He only issued the one free pass and pitched around it. You can see the stuff there, man. I don't know if Dalton Beck's going to contribute for you on the weekend or in what capacity that it is, but what I will say is if you're looking for a lefty specialist, Dalton Beck deserves a look there because DJ Primo has struggled his last few times out. And Dalton Beck, if he's going to go in there and throw the shutout inning, all right, let's see. With 2 strikeouts, it's a fastball, 88 to 90, 91 in that regard. And I like that. With the other pitches that he has, it's a great mix. And you can – that fastball plays up, right? You've heard that so many times. And his does. It has a lot of late life to it, it looks like, from Beck. So I was very pleased. And that, look, something I saw from him in the preseason, and I thought to myself, okay, that guy can be an innings eater for you if nowhere else in the midweek. But if you're looking for a lefty specialist right now, Dalton Beck might deserve an audition for that on the weekend as well. We'll wait and see how they go. But I thought that was a very good debut for him. Jacob Myers comes in and one shutout inning. He didn't give up a hit. He didn't strike out anybody. He walked 3. I mean, that's kind of just the story with Jacob Myers. The stuff is plenty good enough. And it's not even command with him as much as it is control. He just gets really wild. And there's something to be said to being effectively wild. And I think he was very much that tonight. Again, the guy didn't give up a hit. But, you know, same story we've kind of talked about with him. I love the stuff. I love the upside. But until he can get the ball over the plate consistently, I don't see him in any other role other than this. Other than the midweek arm, when you're up big, go out there and save some arms for us. And that's disappointing. And I hope I'm proven wrong later in the season. But that's not a guy to me that you can count on right now in a big spot. And then, man, I was really eager to see Grant Fontenot. Really eager because it had been well over a week since he had pitched, and I was looking for the bounce back after the rough outing he had against Omaha, and it was just more of the same. 2 free passes to start his inning. Ultimately, they both come around to score, and man, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing. And here's why. Because if you're LSU, you know the majority of the guys that you can count on right now and that you're going to lean on. Come big moments in SEC play. Kason Evans. Like, yeah, it's a guy. Like, you feel really good about Kason Evans. Anywhere you want to put him in the game. Zach Cowan. You feel great about that arm. Connor Benj. That's another one. I think you feel really good about. William Schmidt. Definitely in there. That I think you'll see obviously get some big innings on the weekend. Connor Ware. They're going to keep running him out there, and I'm good with it. And look, I'm more inclined to say that was an outlier. What happened on Tuesday night for him, we'll see. But y'all, that's 5. I've got no one else for you right now. I'd like to think Maverick Rizzi is. I was hoping we'd get to see him one of these last 2 nights. We didn't. You will see him this weekend, probably twice, and I'm going to really pay attention because the free passes have really crept up for him the last few times out as well, and even giving up some hits as well. But that's a big arm that they really want to see take the next step. He's definitely a prime candidate. And then after that, who else wants to step up? Who else wants to step up? You need more than 5 bullpen arms. So I'm looking at guys like Rizzi. I'm looking at guys like Newt. I'm looking at guys like Cooper Williams. All those guys that have shown flashes. Can you go take control? Can you force your hand into a place where you can be counted on in the bullpen because you need more than 5 guys. So that's going to be a huge emphasis over these next 4 games for me, and even some in the SEC opener against Missouri. I don't know why I just blanked. Omar the Tiger mentions, and hopefully Guidry. Yes, when Gavin Guidry finally gets onto the mound and everything, it might take him a little bit to acclimate because, I mean, we are heading into 4 weeks into the season. We have not seen Gavin Guidry, but you know what you have in him. It's a really, really good pitcher who's pitched in the big moments. So that's another one. So call it 6, but you need more than 6. You need at least 2 more guys to feel comfortable. You have options, but it's time to see some of them or a couple of them really take hold of that opportunity. And it's going to start with who can go in there and throw strikes. It's going to start with who can go in there and throw strikes. Bayou Bros, Anderson is going to be a weapon for sure, but Anderson's going to be a starter right now. Like I'm looking at the bullpen. I mean, Anderson the last 2 weeks has pitched you into the 6th inning. He just hasn't been able to get to that lineup a 3rd time. So we'll see kind of how that goes for them this weekend as well. But the main thing for me is the free passes. 21 in the last 2 games against North Dakota State. That is the only reason that team had a shred of offense against you the last 2 nights. It's the only reason. I mean, I could do this live here and see if there was ever an inning this weekend where they had 3 or more hits in it, and I don't think that there was. Who just asked that? Dorsey. Who asked about Dorsey? That was Bayou Bros. What about Dorsey? Yeah, let's see. He's had 1 outing. Like I can't put him in that conversation right now. He's had 1 outing. I want to see more of him. Sure, he's in that crop of guys that I want to see more of. Him and Dalton Beck. Like, let's see more of them, and maybe they can. You have options. You have options, and it feels really good. Really, really good for, at least on the surface, to be opening with Missouri. So that's awesome. DJ Trauma Gaming, $5 super chat. Some of the worst catching he's ever seen at LSU. Thank you for the $5 super chat, DJ Trauma Gaming. Big fan of those. Yeah, let's talk about the catching a little bit more. And here's the deal. I'm not going to get on the 1 knee rant. We kind of already did that earlier in the show, and I did that a couple episodes ago anyway, and my opinion is just never going to change on that. But this is, and it doesn't make it okay. Let me be perfectly clear there. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it acceptable. This is what college catching normally is. LSU fans were spoiled for a very, very long time, particularly in the Maneri years, where you just had Micah Gibbs back there, who's a brick wall, Ty Ross back there, who is a brick wall, Michael Papierski back there, what's better than a brick wall? Force field? Michael Papierski was a force field. And after that, you kind of went into Milazzo, and his freshman year was really good, but even he took a tiny step back with some of the injuries. And that's just, it's acceptable. It was back and knee and all things that really affect a catcher. But the ball getting through has really been an issue in Jay Johnson's time at LSU. And that's something that has to improve. I think Luis Hernandez has been your best option still, and I will continue to say that. But even he wasn't great tonight at all. Andrew, I think it was Andrew who asked a question about passed balls compared to other top teams. Yes, it was Andrew Sapp. Andrew, the difficult thing with that is if we were to go look up passed balls for LSU, it wouldn't be that high of a number because most of them get ruled wild pitches. Even though I think you could make a case for plenty of them to not be. Like, for instance, LSU has officially 4 passed balls on the season. Officially. There's 16 wild pitches, and not all of those are on the pitcher. Some of them are, and they have to be better at it too. But that right there is 20 balls to the backstop in now 14 games. That's absolutely going to cost you later in the season. That it has to improve. It cost you last year. Balls to the backstop cost you games last season. And yeah, it will again. It will again. C-Dub, are you just trying to piss me off with the Guidry stuff? Because we literally went through stats that and instances in his career, and some guy in the chat last night was even saying he got crushed in Chapel Hill. He didn't give up a friggin' run in Chapel Hill. He closed out the game that forced Game 7. Don't get me started on that. You're trolling me, right? You're trolling me by saying a guy who is undefeated in 45 career appearances and has 6 saves and a career 3.2 ERA. You're trolling me, correct? Then you weren't watching the same game, C-Dub, or you're trolling me. You're trolling me. I'm chalking it up to that. I'm not getting into this again tonight. That is foolish. So yeah, the catching absolutely got to be better. And they'll continue to work on it, and we'll see what it does. But I'm worried about that costing you games for sure. I'm worried about that costing you games down the stretch here. Any more questions? Any more questions? Gavin Guidry had a 2.59 ERA a season ago. It was better than his freshman year. In about the same amount of innings pitched and about the same amount of appearances as well. So, yeah. Anything else, guys? What we got? Y'all got any questions? Are we gonna see Case and Evans Friday? I don't know Friday, but you'll see it. You'll see him for sure. Logan, what do you think about Jones going to third? I think it's hilarious. I want someone to hit him a baseball. I saw him play third plenty in the scrimmage. Not plenty, but I saw him play third a couple times in the scrimmages too, and nobody hit him a ball. So I actually don't have an opinion other than I think it's funny. But, you know, DJ Trauma, more super chats. Appreciate you, DJ Trauma. Yeah, he was clutch. He didn't give up a run in Chapel Hill over 2 outings. He didn't give up a run. Anyway. Fred, we talked about that a little bit a night ago. They want John Pearson to get a little bit lighter in the feet. He would drop a couple pounds, move a little bit better over there, although I think he moves pretty good. But could he move better? Sure. But that's what's going to take for him to really get into the lineup at third base here, probably in any meaningful action. All right, guys. Priester had he allowed one ball to the backstop and flew out. But other than that, I mean, he did pretty well. He did pretty well. All right, guys, y'all smash the like on your way out. GotLitLights.com. And get subscribed, share, all of those things. It's greatly appreciated. And be here next time for more on Moose at the Box. We'll be previewing the series versus Northern Alabama.